Game 1 top esports on blue. Very specific bans. Xiaohu's Twisted Fate and Karma.
Four mid lane bans right off the back. So we know where both of these teams are focusing, and I completely agree, right? Obviously, Knight is the go-to player for top esports, and I even feel like Xiaohu has been playing pretty well recently and has those comfort champions that if he can get his hands on, he can carry a game on.
But this would be pretty standard here for Jackulov. It's Ezreal or it's Ashe at the moment. And the Ashe is a good takeaway from Gala, his most played.
Yeah, and it's just it's a champion that really just offers so much laning presence, obviously presence on the map, the Enchanted Crystal Arrow, so it's a champion I love. In my opinion right now, it is the kind of de facto tier 1 ADC after everything else has been nerfed.
Okay. Well, where do you rate Varus at the moment? That's a lock-in for RNG as a response, and the Nidalee that's available. And we talked about the carry threat for Xiaolong Bao.
And he is one of our premier Nidalee players. It's actually his third most played. Actually, moves up to his second most played champion now, with this being his 7th game. So you already have some early snowballing elements coming out for RNG. Obviously, some poke elements they can play around. Despite the fact that we expect the Varus, obviously, to go the on-hit route.
But in the same route, Karsa's Lee Sin is legendary. I know we did compare junglers in this head-to-head matchup, but Karsa's Lee Sin is global.
And even think back to spring playoffs, right? It was the thing that literally just kept getting top esports win. He locked it in every game. First side on red side, and it's just nice to see him going back to comfort. So top esports really all inning on a lot of early game pressure now with this Renekton pick as well.
And the
but RNG just want to go toe-to-toe with it.
All right, I like that. That's what we wanted to see out of top esports, and especially out of RNG, to try and net them a win here. Let's go on to the second ban phase, because Lyric, we need some solo laners on the board for both teams. Curious to see the mid lane bans continue to roll through.
I just wonder where we're going to be left with our mid lane pool after everything is banned out.
Maybe we get like a very niche matchup.
Yeah, and obviously, again, RNG have started building towards this more poke-oriented composition, so you either want to just keep, indexing into that aspect, or maybe go towards more disengaged routes. So I actually like the set ban coming out from the side of top esports, because that would fit very well, especially in the mid lane. We've seen the set Nidalee combo over and over again. Set's a very non-interactive laner as well. You pretty much don't have any terrible matchups in the mid lane.
Okay, so what else fits this style? Because it seems like mid lane bans will continue to roll out here.
I wonder if we'll see something like a Galio come out, despite the fact that a LeBlanc ban definitely wouldn't signal that.
Well, Twisted Fate's already got it. Would fit the pool if top esports take it from Xiaohu.
Again, my question is just what's left open?
Yeah.
I mean, we have Galio left open. We have Orianna, but I don't think Orianna looks too good in RNG's comp. Maybe you can slot that into top esports, because obviously Lee Sin can at least, bring the ball into the fight.
Most played by both these mid laners would be taking away from both of them, but the Cannon going to be a top lane ban to finish off.
I mean, just left with what's open, my guess is going to be Galio.
Okay. Or apparently it's going to be RNG showing us, there's not too much available here, and to leave a solo lane counter pick would be the play.
So we have so many mid bans, and now we're going to be left with a mid counter pick for the side of RNG. So now at least adding a bit of an engage option coming in for the side of RNG. Obviously, their comp isn't really built to look for these engages, but even early on, right, when you have a champion like Nidalee that wants to outpace, find the tempo, get some of these early picks off, we do see how the Nautilus can work in this composition. But
I'm curious here, what do you show as top esports is the safe mid-Ori?
Right. Like, for me, this makes sense with what top esports have. Like, it fits their comp decently well. It's really the only blindable mid-lane champion left open. I'm actually wondering if RNG have something planned, because it kind of looks like Knight was pushed onto this pick. You have the ball delivery system already there. The Leona would just cement that fact even more.
And a favorite of Yu and Jara as well.
Yep, and I do expect them to go towards that. It fits their comp very well. They've obviously set up for this very strong 5v5 sort of team comp. They have pick potential there. They have, avenues to play around in the early game, and then obviously Knight's going to be this big late game carry threat.
And when you came into the league, he was one of the first people playing Wukong. We know that this is a personal favorite and is most played as well.
So we have Jay Smith.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jay Smith for Xiao is going to be interesting. So we obviously have the engage options there if they want to look for team fights, but obviously their comp is all about playing from a range, keeping you at arm's length. Even the Jace Nidalee combo, I'd say it's a lot more about accelerating the pace of the game rather than anything else. Two champions that snowball very hard off their 1 and 2 item power spikes.
Because we're built very much on snowballing throughout the game here for both teams, right? There are different facets of it and elements. It does feel like top esports have a lot more angles to play through.
Yeah,
that's correct.
I think you're definitely hitting the nail on the head with that one, that we definitely see both comps and say, hey, they have early game aspects that they want to play around, but especially for top esports, I feel like their comp does do pretty well in the late game. They have the front line coming out with the Renekton as well as the Leona. and we know that the Ashe and Orianna are going to put out a ton of damage, to where for the side of RNG, it's going to be more about trying to find that advantage through the mid-jungle 2v2, allowing Xiaolongbao to get into Karsa's face and really pick up those advantages. The thing that'll be interesting for them is that on the side of top esports, right, you have the Enchantress Arrow and you have the Leona, but if those can't get on top of you, if you can kite out those, you know, the ultimates, the engages, you're going to have a really good time in these mid to late game team fights anyway.
Oh, interesting. I'll be looking out for the key abilities to land here from the bottom lane. I think it's important to note for everyone that we state what's on the line for these two teams. Top Esports are already guaranteed in top 8, but they're a team we expect to be guaranteed in top 2 by now, sitting at 11-2. At this point, Top Esports with a win here will secure top 4 and then continue their run up to try and get semi-final berth, try and get their first ever world split in the bag. While RNG are just fighting for playoffs altogether, 6 and 7. They need to start climbing those wins and Top Esports stand in the way. A must win for Royal Never Give Up fans to hit that magic number of 9. In the 2020 Summer Split.
I also want to point out now that since JDG did go down earlier today, that Top Esports do control their fate with securing first, because they're the only team still at 2 losses. So if they can, you know, take the rest of their series, they will be able to end in first place.
And just if JDG are able to catch up to them, just remember game differential for Top Esports is great. They're currently 23 and 6. They've taken an individual game loss to OMG, EDG, and then a series loss to V5 where they picked up an individual game themselves and then lost 2-0 to IG.
Also interesting that we see Xiaolongbao go with the Dark Harvest. Obviously, typically we do see in Italy go with the Electrocute if he wants to go for more early game ganking, and the Conquer if it's more about the skirmishing style, getting up those stacks. But going to go this more snowball-y route that also obviously has a slight scaling element to it. Not slight, but I feel like when you do pick up Dark Harvest, it is much more about the snowballing elements.
It's something that I don't believe we've seen here this split nor this year on the Nidalee, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep, I'm almost positive you're right. Don't feel like we've seen this room taken on her here in the LPL, so really interested to see what Xiaolongbao does with his path. You don't have any really easy lanes to gank, right? You don't have any setup in mid lane, you don't have any setup in top lane. You do have a bit of setup bot side, but I do also like Top Esports 3v3 with their bot lane. They do have a ton of CC coming in from the Ashe as well as the Leona.
Yep, and the 6 is pretty devastating to verse if you're RNG. I'd also like to note that we have Xiaohu on a champion that I think his ability to carry could be quite strong on. Seeing a Jace mid in the LPL these days is rare, considering we don't see Jace that much. And if it is Jace, it is towards the top side and someone like the Shy.
Jace is a champion, in my opinion, that demands a lot of attention. You need like a lot of vision coming out from your jungler because you want to push in the enemy. You want to be able to abuse him under turret. You want to come out with these aggressive trades. So we definitely want to see Ming and Xiaolongbao.
Ooh, 2 hit first here for the bottom lane of Top Esports. The flash away with Ignite on top of Gala. And he will survive, but forced out of lane this early. Big win here for Top Esports bottom lane.
And this is great because we always like look at Top Esports and say, hey, well, their weakness is their bottom lane, especially in the early laning phase. Great of them to find this, you know, level 2 spike, come out ahead in this trade. We do know Leona does feel better in these early skirmishes compared to the Nautilus, and Jackie doing a great job to put out that TPS.
And Ming won't be able to hold this wave. That's huge. But it is a cannon wave, of course, so that will slow down the tempo of that push in.
Yeah, looks like he might potentially miss, I guess it's maybe 3 minions. He missed the first one, is going to miss the cannon, and maybe one more following that.
But still, this early on is quite influential, right?
Yeah, I definitely agree. And look, it also gives Jackie Love a really nice, you know, tempo reset coming out. So I wonder if he will go for something like a call early on and just come back to lane with that.
I also like that Yuyan Jazz gives him the freedom to pressure towards mid, and Xiao, who has to appreciate that. I'm just going to pause here, Lyric, while we watch Xiaolongbao farm up his Gromp, because, ladies and gentlemen, bottom of your screen, this is what we're talking about. Because JDG did not beat V5 before, this is not a top 3 lock-in, but a win here for Top Esports in the series will guarantee top 4, which means quarter-final berth at bare minimum. And with the points Top Esports have from Spring being the runners-up in the split in the finals, things are looking good, as we're going to see a TP for a dive on top of New. 369 with a full Fury bar. You just trying to survive with Karsa in as well. So cleanly done for first blood.
And I like this a lot. We actually didn't get a chance to hit on what Top Esports want to do early, right? But when you see a Renekton and when you see a Lee Sin, you know it's signaling those topside plays. Knight even chiming in with the TP to hold the minion wave there. They're able to find that first kill. and they're not even going to lose any CS on the map with 369 being able to TP in.
We're just doing an old crisscross hit for the solo laners of top Esports.
It's nice, right? Because we see that Knight and Karsa were able to share that CS and XP up in the top side. 369 is going to pick it up in mid lane. You pick up a kill, so ultimately losing out on nothing.
But through the lanes, through the CS leads that are starting to accrue in that first blood, top Esports are up by almost 1,000 gold at 4 minutes in the game, and big.
It is. I want to see if RNG do anything right now off the small window they should have, because we see Xiaohu's obviously back on the map first, so he's going to have that push in mid lane, and see if him and Xiaolongbao want to turn, whether it is just hovering towards bot side, putting more pressure down, or even try to opt into a top side play. But we do see on the minimap, top Esports are doing a great job at controlling vision for 369.
Yeah. Deep wards in. I'm not sure if that spotted out Krugs, but you can see already pings are going down from top Esports towards the Wolves. They know that Xiaolongbao's on the bottom side of the map. So, again, tracking junglers in the LPL has been a very important part. While New actually goes in pretty deep up here. The Slice and Dice New use onto this Wukong. Picks up Conquerors, gets a bit more healing. Refillable potions last slot used. 369 heavily winning out in the trading here by 10 CS.
It was still nice to see him, you know, with his discipline holding the W as long as he could. Still came back a bit better in that trade, but now this is going to be the point of pressure for top Esports constantly. They're going to be able to rely on 369. Sure, there is no TP anymore, so if there is a fight right now, it's going to be a straight up 4v4, but of course top Esports bot lane does have priority.
But I think just in the lane, right, we already saw turret plating going down. New has to walk back to this top lane, and that minion wave going to be partially denied against the Wukong, so about 20 CS up for now. While top Esports start this dragon, Knight walks down to help secure, and another objective in their back pocket to kick off this game one.
Yeah, and they just have to give this up now, especially with the fact that 369 also recalled, so theoretically he could just be walking straight towards spot, right? You don't want to opt into that fight where you're not going to have numbers advantage. So TES doing a great job so far of punishing across the map, and RNG not really having any good answers because we said there isn't really any good lane setup for any ganks. It would be a lot more about, you know, Xiaohu trying to find push and enabling Xiaolongbao to maybe go bully Karsa at his Raptors or something along those lines.
Xiaolongbao finding those minute windows to get the game rolling. You talked about how RNG, it is about the mid-jungle 2v2 anyway, and how they get their snowball going in this game, number one, because of top Esports with their options in the game and their ability to scale better. Karsa now coming towards the bottom lane, and there's no level 6 on Jackie Love. Not sure how far away it is because he did get a lane advantage earlier on. Karsa just going to back here just in case something happens in the bottom lane.
Yep, and they do know that is really the only part of the map that's vulnerable, because if we look up towards top side, the wave is pushing into 369, so he's not feeling any threat right now. But we also need to remember how hard it's going to be if RNG's comp falls behind, because you're not going to get in place to get the vision first. We're not going to be able to set up these sieges. And for top Esports, they'll always at least have the Hawk Shot coming out for the Ashe, so going to be quite crucial to look out for that in this game as well.
It's not really a point where Xiaolongbao doesn't get tracked through this map. He is up in CS, though, to speak highly of the jungler of RNG, up about 17 at the moment and counting. The first blood makes a difference to that gold.
Also the dragon.
Yeah, that's also true. 369 putting down some wards himself. He will be spotted out as he drops that one there.
And it looks like they're going to have a good wave set up if they want to look for another topside play soon. Of course, the Rift Herald is coming up right now. Yuyanja's already on the hike up towards topside. And Karsa's probably just be able to start this one up if he wants. With Gala recalling, I wonder if RNG are just going to send both of their bot lane members top and pick this one out themselves.
Because crucially, Ming has level 6. That means Depth Charge is available where Yuyanja does not have his Solar Flare.
Yep, Jackie Love is the one who has level 6 on their bot lane.
He does, can set an arrow across map. The top Esports are on the objective first. And the numbers advantage there right now.
And Gala's not heading over here, so it looks like RNG are just going to concede.
At 2k, they don't have full vision of this. RNG sending in the spear. 369 absorbs it as Rift Herald will be smited and secured down. RNG want to take the fight afterwards as New has his ulti with the Cyclone only on the 369. Karsa gets the kick, then safeguards out. That was slick. The spear was even slicker here from RNG. The flash with depth charge. 369 nailed into the corner. No Dominus saving with a double kill over to Xiaolongbao, who nailed that fight himself.
Xiaolongbao playing so well. I love how they accept, okay, we're not going to get the Rift Herald. We're just going to use this position to take the fight ourselves. Those spears so massive, like you said, and Night Shockwave doesn't matter at this point in the game because it does no damage.
I guess the difference was Runic Echoes in that fight hit so much harder. And the ability for Xiaolongbao to pick up 2 kills. Now the ball definitely rolling as the Dredge Line connects onto Knight. He has everything. but now nothing as he goes down.
And this is what we said we wanted to see early on. We want to see Xiaolongbao and Ming interacting with the mid lane, finding their advantages from here. Great dredge line coming out from Ming to pick that one up, and Punishing Knight didn't even have a chance to use his flash.
And we've just given another kill over to the Nidalee. As we talk about, Nidalee needs to get rolling early on. This is definitely going to make the difference for RNG.
Mew hitting a really good ultimate, knocking up multiple members, and now Xiaolongbao just is in such a good place to hit these point-blank spears because of the corridor that 369 and Top Esports are funneled into, and just set up for 2 very easy spears onto Karsa and 369.
Now with the Amplifying Tome. Sorry, not Amplifying Tome. Fiendish
Fiendish
Codex,
Codex.
even bigger. Darksteel in the inventory with boots that have been picked up thanks to magical footwear. So, what was lanes snowballing out of control, or rather getting early advantages, has now reflexed a little bit with a big lead in the jungle for Xiaolongbao.
But now Top Esports are the ones that have the priority to make a play because Knight does have TP in the mid lane that's finally come back up. So I want to see if Top Esports are going to change their plan, like go towards the bot lane, because now is when we have the Enchanted Crystal Arrow as well as the Leona ultimate coming out. So this would be a window where Top Esports can look bot, but we look at the minimap. Knight is hovering topside once again, and they're just trying to shut New out of this game.
Also with that Rift Herald, big minion wave here as well, Lyric.
And we do see Xiaolongbao heading up, but they're definitely not going to be here in time to affect this matchup at all. Sadly, not able to trade on the other side of the map. Maybe Xiaohu can get a play in the mid lane, but it's going to be inconsequential overall.
Chains Corruption used, Cleanse immediately burn in the same vein. Well, yeah, you talk about Xiaohu hitting a couple of these plates. Bit of gold in the back pocket of the Jace will be nice, but Xiaolongbao on Karsa, the spear lands, wants to burst down the kick there, but New follows up, and you know what? Shockwave, inconsequential with the 4th kill over to XLB.
Yeah, and overall, it looked like maybe it can work out for Top Esports, but still not able to get on Xiaolongbao fast enough. He does have the flash. New was there and ready to, combo with that ultimate. And another pick for RNG. Despite losing 1 turret, RNG are still the team that's up in gold.
And they're going towards this Mountain Dragon. They're going to be spawning an early Cloud/Infernal Rift.
And think about it, RNG have only been making counterplays so far. They were not the ones, going out of their way to start these proactive plays themselves. They punished Top Esports with the Herald play, and they just punished Top Esports over push on top side.
And it's really nice to see because the dynamic at RNG is Xiaolongbao on? In this game, one definitely feels like he is. As Gala's the engage with the Soul to lay it down after the cleanse from Gala to get out. And that's the play. Enchanted Crystal Arrow was held onto, but they do get a summoner out of this 80 carry of RNG.
It's just really interesting, right? Because we have 2 of these CC 80 carries coming out. Both of them are running cleanse, so they're both pretty safe. And 2 engaged supports paired alongside them as well. So we're just seeing a bunch of very short trades that are, getting these cleanses, but nothing else.
Depth Charge was used as well, I believe. So Ming has that on cooldown. Solar Flare the same as I said before. Gala's ulti still on cooldown from the last fight. So a small advantage there, but Jackalope with no cleanse either, as Karsa is spotted out on the bottom side of the map. Xiaolongbao has gone back to pick up an Athene's. He has 2 items now, and, I wanted to see something like a Lich Bane, but it doesn't matter. Athene's going to be great for someone like Gala.
Yep, seeing him come out with these skills is going to be massive. I want to see what 369 does now because, right, we have this style of Renekton that, sometimes we'll build a Tiamat, just kind of push and move, interact with the other lanes. There is no objective up on the map right now, so he's not really going to be able to get much, but maybe this can open up some invades on topside jungle for Karsa trying to find out Xiaolongbao, or if they just keep trying to punish New, who also has the potential to just hold his wave up the top side right now.
So do you still want to see proactivity from Top Esports here? You don't want them to get shut out by someone like Xiaolongbao because, again, RNG snowballing is a priority.
Like, right now, all you need to do is, prevent RNG from being able to make any plays themselves. You don't actually really need to look for those proactive plays on top side. It's just an avenue they do have there.
Okay, it's interesting because Xiaolongbao right now is trying to be proactive himself on bottom side. Pings are getting spammed here from this 2-item Nidalee with 110 CS and 4 kills, and every time she gets spotted out, Top Esports pay the respect. Jackalope and Yuya and just sitting way back at the turret.
So we actually see Top Esports going for that, right? We saw Karsa just kind of recall after clearing topside, come back down, hovering for his bot lane to make sure that Italy can't make any plays happen.
Chains Corruption, remember, there's no cleanse available, and Enchanted Crystal Arrow gets sent right back. The flash away, the dredge line perfect, but Karsa's here, the kick back into the turret. On Ming, he flashes for a bit of damage, but Ming survives. And in comes Xiaolongbao as a flash burn by Karsa in the end. and away we go.
And a 1-for-1 overall. Both teams playing that mechanically well. Jackula flashing away from that initial engage. Great kick coming out from Karsa. Like you said, sadly, Ming is able to get away. And as we talked about in the mid lane, right, Xiaohu's consistently having the push, being able to roam down with Xiaolongbao, sadly not able to follow up and find any more kills.
And Gold is dead even at 14 minutes in the game. What more could you want with 2 minutes until that next Cloud Dragon spawns? And we're in a game where for top esports and RNG alike, ult cooldown for these AD carries, and I guess top laners too, is going to be very big.
Yeah, completely agree. And we're at a point right now where RNG do feel really big, right? We have that first item coming out for Xiaohu. You already talked about the items coming out for Xiaolongbao.
Woo!
Ooh, so close. Even Play the Rune King coming out for Gala.
Yeah.
This is a point where RNG want to look for these fights.
Top esports can't afford to get caught out. Yuanjia's going to start on top of Ming, who burned his flash in the last engage. In comes Jackula, who cleanses once more. He's the target as Yuanjia gets low. In comes the Jason Xiao, just knocks his block off. New runs in onto 369, and Karsa is left in the pit of despair. While 369 just wants out of this play. He slices, he dices, he runs for his life. While RNG control this bottom side jungle yet again.
And RNG know they win these fights. That's why we see new TP, and that's why we see Ming is fine with getting engaged on. Right now, Xiaohu is massive to where Knight is still a non-factor with this one item, Orianna. Great play overall coming out from RNG to secure that kill onto Jackula.
Quite surprising. Karsa's going to start up the Rift Herald here. Good timing to hit one of those windows after the fight goes wrong.
They do have the vision, right? Because you look at the top side wave, it is pushed into the turret, so they know no one is up there right now. And even if we look slightly off our screen, there is a ward spotting out right behind Xiaolongbao's Raptor Pit, so Karsa knowing he can abuse this window. And RNG had to go for resets anyway off of that fight.
So Herald in the back pocket for the second time around for Karsa to try and delay this game out a little bit more, because before it was just Xiaolongbao picking up the kills, but now Xiaohu's in a great position. Gala picks up a kill. You mentioned the one item. We got a Serrated Dirk on top of that with most gold in the game going to Xiaohu.
And we said these are the two members that want to be accelerated, want to accelerate the pace of the game.
Yep.
But top esports doing a good job of answering.
Really are. Gold back in the pocket. Small lead here for top esports, and mid lane turret broken down. Means this evade on the blue buff is a little bit simpler.
Yep, and we do see that 369 is here already. He does still have his dominance up to where Nuke doesn't exactly have his ultimate yet. So there's going to be a bit of a very small window. It looks like it's about to be up in time for New, so it shouldn't be too big of a deal.
Yuanjia has the ball on top of him, gets dredge lined in. Spear does not connect. Knight takes the depth charge. Couple of ultis that don't have much effect. 369 in for the flank. Solo play on two. 369 flashes on into Gala, who kites it away. The shockwave whiffs as well as Karsa gets towards the backline. Safeguards out after killing Ming. There's a numbers advantage, but low health bars with New now spinning to winning. It's 369 again the target. Flushed on by Xiaohu. It's a double to the Monkey King.
And overall, honestly, RNG got a bit too ahead of themselves in my opinion, but it doesn't matter because they have more damage at this point in the game. Great job by Xiaohu to get on that fight, put in threat onto Knight. You talked about it, Knight Shockwave completely whiffing once again. And we're just seeing Xiaolongbao just does so much damage at this point in the game. Let's also praise Gala as well because he had really good positioning in that teamfight to make sure that 369 wasn't a massive threat on top of him.
Now they're going to get the turret on top of that. RNG back in the gold lead. I love how it swings in this first game, but 17 minutes in, and we got another fight.
And again, honestly, I don't feel like RNG needed to look for this sort of pick here. They throw down the Nautilus ultimate, can't find anything. We see Gala throw out that Chains of Corruption as well. Gala doing a great job of kiting around this fight to make sure that 369 can't do anything. Barca still finds Ming. But we've seen here that, hey, you know, Xiaohu and Xiaolongbao still have a bunch of follow-up. New held his ultimate, so is able to go in and secure that onto Jackula. And now 369 is going to go down as well with a great flash coming out from Xiaohu.
You can see top lane are more impactful at this point. Definitely New. 2, 1, and 3 here going towards the Death Dance as the second item. Also want to note that we are pretty close to max CDR if we haven't. I believe we just hit 40% for Xiaolongbao, Lyric, as he is a level up on Karsa and is getting a highlight here in the game.
He deserves it, and it's why we expected a lot from him coming into today's series.
He's almost got 5,000 gold. That's what we're seeing in the bottom of our screen. 5k gold in this game so far.
369 has TP.
Yep.
So keep that in mind if RNG engage. This can be a 5v4.
Gala doesn't have Chains of Corruption, so they're going to back away. Will be up and available in the next 5 seconds or so. But the game so far has revolved a lot around these objectives. But RNG do have deep vision here.
We've talked about how RNG really don't have any way of like setting up these plays otherwise, right? It is a lot about kind of grouping up this 5, throwing out this poke, comboing with the Lily Spears, and obviously the Shock Blast coming out from Xiaohu. But I do expect us to always see this core that should be Xiaohu plus Xiaolongbao. We already talked about that they are the two strong members of the team, and that RNG wants a lot of their skirmishes to be centered around these two members.
So is this still fine for RNG? Are we still like RNG have the driver's seat? That'll continue for the next 10 or so minutes because, again, scaling element. Or they could just pick someone off and then I don't have to talk because 369's dead again. Carson goes in for a kick. That's a little bit suboptimal. Teleport used by 9. I was going to say RNG going to have to pick up the pace a little bit more, but yes, they are. Flash for flash. Very worth when Jackie burns another summoner as Xiaolongbao misses a spear, but the pressure's still there.
And funnily enough, there is no objective up right now. So RNG at most looks like they're going to be able to take away a red buff, but shouldn't tangibly turn into any turrets. Maybe that bot lane turret, but honestly, we look at the HP value of that. It's already down pretty much anyway.
And I guess there's something else we can talk about, the insane pick potential of RNG. If top esports stand out of line, if they don't control vision, they're dead.
And at the same time, we should highlight the fact that actually, you know, I do want to consider Karsa's jungle an objective for Xiaolongbao because, as you've said, he just keeps getting these level leads. We actually finally just saw Karsa hit 11, to where Xiaolongbao's been on level 12 for a bit of time. He's almost at level 13 now.
Yeah. And again, that item advantage can be talked about for quite a while as we get our futuristic Harbin comparison. Wish Clement Chu was here. He'd help me out a little bit with that. Azonya's Hourglass coming third by the looks of it for Xiaolongbao. He's pretty close.
And I want to see where Knight goes with this next item. So
Okay.
we see the Spellbinder coming out now, but that 3-item point for the Orianna feels like the point where he really will be massive. There's going to be too much MR on the side of RNG, so I wonder if he'll just go for something like an Oblivion or early, or if he wants to go like the maximum snowball route of like picking up something like a Death Cap, but very far off from that point.
And it is kind of nice. There's no hardcore frontline bar the Nautilus in the late game for RNG.
You obviously could also go Zanya's, which I think would be nice. But yeah, true. There is no frontline coming out from RNG other than just the Nautilus. I guess Nu's going to serve as a frontline as well.
Bruiser, right? You know, mixed. But now has the Death Dance, so that's definitely going to help.
He still has resistances.
He's still going to be hard to kill. I'll excuse myself. 369, however. The vision control from RNG towards his next dragon. So deep towards the enemy jungle of top esports. But they're on the top side of the map right now. They get spotted out by top esports vision. Because Baron's sitting there. And RNG want to keep threatening where they can.
Top esports are another team, just like IG, that we see them go for those GG Barons. All the time, TES are the team that are like, okay, well, you go do whatever you want on bot side. We're going to try and just force away this Baron. Even go down to a 50-50. They're willing to take those. But with Dragon coming up at 30 seconds, obviously we just saw Knight push out the top side. I would expect him to start rotating over now and CPS try to control vision as a 5-man. Nu has TP, so he doesn't need to move over just yet.
I love the pings getting spammed down. RNG just threatening through the mid lane turret. Trying to force top esports to rotate. And now that they're here, with the wave getting cleared, with RNG able to push their own in, 5 seconds and that Dragon will be up.
And I also want to keep track of summoners as well because it's so crucial. Both AD carries don't have flash, but both do have cleanse available. We have flash up on both mid laners as well, who's going to be very critical. So RNG, I feel like, are in a good position if this turns into a fight, but we actually see TES just giving this one up, going to try to get more gold in their pockets, try to get Knight on another item breakpoint, even Jackie Love as well.
But that now is 20% extra cooldown reduction on top of Gala's Chains of Corruption, on top of the depth charge and new Cyclones. So this already looking pretty good for RNG. 2K gold lead at the top of your screen. Soul Point coming up next. As Baron sits there waiting, and you can see Ming and Gala have been inseparable this entire game. Their CC duo and the damage that now comes out of Gala means anyone from top esports will surely die if they spot them.
Yep, and the teams trading turrets on opposite sides of the map. We obviously saw that Knight and Yu Yanja were hovering towards the bot to secure that one, and Ming just hovering around top side to make sure that Xiaohu can take this one off very easily. And now we're just going to default back into a state of teams catching waves. RNG obviously should be the team that can control vision around Baron.
Yep.
But I don't think RNG necessarily need to look for any picks right now, but hey, they're going to go for it. Nu has TP.
Now ward there in front of the blue. Spotted out what top esports were about to do. Blue does go over to Knight, which is nice here for the mid laner, and the tempo is definitely slowed down. RNG are still waiting in these rushes, but top esports aren't stepping too far forward.
The thing is, right, there's no neutral objectives open, and I guess sure, RNG can, like, let's say start a slow push or just push inside and try to group up mid and siege a inner turret mid, but they might get some chip damage, but I strongly doubt they'll get it. Obviously, Orianna and Ashe having great wave clear, so Looks like they're playing more for the vision denial game and trying to, you know, go for cheeky brush plays of picking someone out because you do still have a ton of CC and burst coming out from all your champions.
Can I just say while we're, you know, kind of watching these sides trade hands, that this is the first game in a very long time where I don't think Knight's bought a, you know, Dark Seal or a Magi's. Now, obviously, it's when he's very far ahead, but he sits on the Dark Seal in a lot of his games.
I mean, he also does Snowball a lot of games.
Yes, he does.
This one he did not. Also nice to see that he did go for the Oblivion Orb route that I talked about. Doesn't make a lot of sense, right? You don't have too much MR coming out from the opposite side, though. You do have a ton of Mercs being picked up now, so
yeah.
Obviously Merc's a lot more about the tenacity, though, so.
And note that Shalom Bao now has this on his Hourglass as his 3 items.
So he does have armor and MR. Zanya's in the Athenes.
And Quincy's Rageblade on top of Gala. Their ability to do this Baron just got a hell of a lot quicker, especially with 3-item Jace, who's in front of it, and that ward will be spotted out. The Xiaohu one-shots it. RNG have now cleared all the vision that Top Esports have laid bare in that water work, or whatever you call that river.
Yep, so, and this is what we expect, right? RNG are the team that have pressure right now. They have great vision control. They're going to have a great job if TS kind of try to walk through a corridor of being able to throw out a Shock Blast plus a Spear and burst someone out instantly. And we know Ming has been playing it, like, so aggressively this game that if anyone ever gets in range of a Dredge Line, it's going to come out.
Good to see Ming in form. I think another identifying factor of RNG's success of the support, who's been here almost as long as Xiaohu.
Ming has had the best form this split, in my opinion, overall on RNG. I feel like he's had a very solid split, playing with both AD carries.
I think we started talking up Xiaohu as then you became, you know, the official Xiaohu apologist.
I also like how we're just defaulting into RNG trying to bait Top Esports into coming into River, but TS have no reason to go into River. They even saw a blue trinket up for Jackie Love. Obviously, he's also an Ashe, right? So at some point, we'll have that hawk shot back up. Right now, it is on a 35-second cooldown. We saw the scrying orb just come out, but TS have no reason to walk into topside River.
Also, Orianna makes it hard to bait a brush, right? You know, command attack will spot out the brush, and those lying in it.
So TS are doing a good job right now of making sure that RNG can't find these picks because they realistically don't have a way of attacking the map anymore. And you could say, oh, but send Xiaohu into a side lane, have him force turrets, but hey, he doesn't actually have TP, and then you're opening yourself up to potential picks with an Enchanted Crystal Arrow up against the Renekton as well. So I like that RNG are playing this more, you know, grouped team, you know, siege and poke game with their comp.
Everyone back, everyone rejoins. RNG making sure that Baron's not being started. We've had a bit of a lull here for a couple of moments, but that's for the benefit of Top Esports.
We also have it highlighted that RNG are on Soul Point. We did say it when they picked up the last Drake, but this will feel very nice for them.
They want an early Elder as well, right? That kind of sealed the deal of the game.
Yeah, definitely would. RNG are definitely the team looking for an early Elder.
The ability comes in 20 seconds. Off to the side. Great angle from Xiaohu.
So close.
Doesn't connect. That's a crucial factor against the Ashe and Orianna.
And we can see how well they do at controlling terrain, right? They just keep throwing out the spears, keep throwing out the shock blast. Even just Gala's Qs, even though, you know, not hitting as hard. Ooh.
TP.
We talked about this. Oh, actually, the pick
They want the kill. They want the kill onto New, but he hits a trap. He loses his movement speed. That trap actually slowed down the Renekton.
Ping's coming out onto Baron. Are they going to go for it?
Well, they're just going to lose the soul in the same.
I mean, they committed to losing the soul the second they committed 369's TP towards topside.
They're not doing the Baron. So that's a free soul. May you fly with the wind, RNG, with 30% cooldown reduction. And remember, Nidalee Cougar form will get that buff. So there's a hell of a lot of movement speed on Shalom Bao right now.
Well, and this is what we did expect and what we expected actually a minute and a half ago, but
not a ward.
Top Esports are the team that'll go for this. They actually burn it down so fast.
They really do, but the poke's starting to fly through. The Javelin Toss dodged away from 5K into 4. Shalom Bao on the back of the pit. Solar Flare in front. He'll be spotted out 1K for the steal. And we saw that coming with a level advantage now for Top Esports. They have to get the hell out of dodge, but they're in the pit of despair as Carson manages to fly his way out, but for 369, he gets a hammer to the face. With New on the tail of Caster, he's dead too. All but Knight suffer at the hands of RNG.
And Shalom Bao is having an amazing game so far, putting up so much pressure, hitting every skill shot, hitting every smite clearly. And RNG in a great position to make their way towards that magic number 9.
They got long death time as they're running through mid. This will not be the game end, but a broken inhibitor is definitely on the cards. Gala had his field day there. New has been showing up as well. And RNG are going to get so much off the back of this Baron and that near ace.
Yeah, great job from New. I like that you highlighted as well. He's had some really clutch ultimates, and actually not going to be one inhibitor, it's going to be 2 inhibitors for RNG.
So the base well and truly in tatters. Everyone up now for top esports, and this is meant to be the best team in the LPL. But RNG cannot be complimented enough from this epic game 1 off the hands of their jungle.
But so let's paint the picture for the rest of the game for top esports. It's all coming down to that Elder. If you can somehow, get that Elder Dragon, obviously that is your route back into this game, but let's go back here. Xiao is not actually here yet, but Xiao, great job hitting the spear, jumping in as well, going to secure that objective. And now from here on, Xiao finally joins the fight. Yu Yanja is already low. They secure that with Gala. And New fighting up on the other side of the fight, taking down Jackie Love. 369 awkwardly left at the pit in middle of RNG's members, and RNG just clean up.
Kind of impressive to see is New caught out with the Solar Flare, but that's only the cone. Double Cyclone with Depth Charge. Castle will be knocked up with Shalabao over the wall. Javelin Toss doesn't connect, but New has his second wave of that Cyclone available. And Casa, Spear, almost connects, but New flies forward and he's out safely. RNG with a numbers advantage and top esports are grouped up under turret, but RNG dived this so easily. You can just send against the wall, and hammer time reigns once more with a double kill to Xiaohu to end this game 1.
Yeah, RNG should just be able to end. 369 can't hold off himself. RNG, 30 minutes stop over top esports.
This wave coming through with supers at their back with Baron with another 45 seconds. Who cares? This game in the bag, you're right, 30 minutes for RNG to take down what is meant to be the best team in the LPL. RNG stating their cause.
And I've been talking about this all week. I knew the second that RNG became unreliable would be the second that RNG become reliable again. Because that's always how RNG works. The second you don't believe in them is